So if you know this Shiva Kshetram called as Tayumanavar, Matrubhutam, Shri Matrubhutam, Trishira Girinatham Hridi Sugandhi Kuntalaba Sametam. So they were all stationed in different places. Maricha came and fell in Tamil Nadu, which is Dravida Desham. So at that point in time comes the second verse of Gayatri Ramayanam. Yesterday I spoke about verse number 1, Tapaswadhyaya Niratam Ta. The second verse is the 1001th verse. Sahatva Rakshasan Sarvan Yajnagnan Raghunandanaha Rishibhi Pujita Samyak Yathendro Vijayi Pura. Like how Indra won over the demons, so did Rama win over these demons and protected Vishwamitra's sacrifice. Vishwamitra was very happy. He wanted to give some stipend to internship to give something. But as a Rishi, what did he have? Immediately he got one message. It is Sita's Swayamvaram. Agree? Remember this point. In Srimad Ramayana, there is no mention of Sita's Swayamvaram. Generally in dance productions, I am associated with dancers through various ways. I don't dance. Associated. So generally in dance productions, the dancer will come, they will depict one bow. The first person will come and he will try to lift the bow. Then he will fall. They will, to bring the hasya rasam of the navarasams, then the second person will come. He will prove that he is very haughty. He will not be able to. Finally Rama will come. He will hold and Tribangi pose. They will put some flowers on the dancer. Screen will close. Correct? This is how dance production happens. But the beauty is, Valmiki doesn't speak about Swayamvaram at all. That 4 people were gathered. Ravana also came to that place. Nothing is mentioned. And what is mentioned? It tells that Janaka, Siradhvaja wanted to perform a yajnam, a puja for Shiva Dhanus. See, even on the day of Saraswati Puja, many of them refer to as Ayudha Puja. If you have factories, I don't know in India, here I don't know, in India they will apply that kumkumam to that machine. Right, if you have got car, that also becomes an ayudha, because if you drive fast you can kill people. That is also an ayudha. Right, what is our ayudha? iPad. How can you fight with an iPad? If you write mails to certain people and create fights between 2 families, that also becomes an ayudha. So Ayudha Puja. So he wanted to do an Ayudha Puja for the bow which has been coming one generation after the other, which was used by Lord Shiva. But that bow had a little crack, so it was not in a usable state. So it was kept as an antique in the house and it was worshipped. So for this Ayudha Puja, he had invited the kings in the vicinity. Thereby Vishwamitra was also invited. Vishwamitra received this message that Ayudha Puja is happening, please come. But Vishwamitra mentally calculated. He knew that he had a daughter. Rama's father was looking for a daughter-in-law. So he wanted to do that Bharat matrimony's job. Wheat complexion, ragi complexion, 5'7", clean habits only. This job he wanted to do. So he said, Rama, follow me. See, Rama was a person, if father says go to the forest, he'll go. If Vishwamitra says follow me, he'll follow. Thank God they were not during the times of Krishna. Krishna would have asked, why? Why should I come? Why should I go behind this old man? He would have asked such questions. So Rama started following along with Lakshmana. As they reached the area of Mithila Desham, outside Mithila, the outskirts of Mithila, there was a little area called as Mithilopavanam. And as they went into the Mithilopavanam, there was a hermitage in a very bad state. Nobody had maintained that ashramam. Rama asked, whose ashramam is this? That is when he starts narrating the Vrittantam of Ahalya. Ahalya's Charitram comes primarily in Ramayana. There are also some versions in the other Puranas. It is said that Brahma, out of sheer happiness, created her as a personification of flawless, blemishless beauty. Her name was Ahalya. And he said, I will give her in marriage to the suitable person. Indra, whether he was suitable or not, he wanted to marry her. And it was said that whoever goes around this world, covers maximum number of kilometers, miles, he or she will be given in marriage to Ahalya. Indra started in his Airavatam. He used his chariot also, used the longest route. He went to all the land mass and then he had to come. By then, Gautama Maharishi was passing by Brahma's place, Satyalokam. Today's scholars, research scholars opine that Brahma's place, what we mention as Satyaloka, is called the Pamir mountains, which are found between Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan. That is the place where when the sun's rays falls, it looks like Meru Parvatam. So that is why we say Meroho Uttare Parshve, Dakshine Parshve. So he went around that place. By then Gautama Maharishi came. And that time Narada said, why don't you give Ahalya in marriage to Gautama? How can I give her in marriage to Gautama? I don't think Gautama has covered. He doesn't have a vehicle also. No, my dear father, today I heard from Gautama that he had seen the birth of a calf which was given birth by a cow. So when the cow gives birth to a calf, if the head of the calf comes out and then you see the head of the cow on the other side, the cow's head and the calf's head, Shastram tells if you circumambulate it at that point in time, it is equivalent to going around the earth. Shastram tells, no, don't go in search of a cow. He incidentally came across one pregnant cow. So you have to give her in marriage. This is what Shastram tells. He gave her in marriage to Gautama. Indra was very upset with this. He was waiting for a time, opportune time, to have a relationship with her. In the absence of Gautama, he came in the form of Gautama. Tasyantaram viditva cha sahasrakshaha shachipatihi munivesha dharo bhutva ahalyamidam abraveed. So he came in the disguise of Gautama and he embraced Ahalya. Ahalya at that point in time, she deciphered that the person who's embracing her could not have been her husband because her husband's demeanor doesn't suit this person. And she also could smell the pollen of Kalpaka Vriksha's flowers on the matted locks of this Muni, which indicated that the person could be Indra. Despite knowing that it is Indra who has come in the disguise of Gautama, she refused to resist his advances because she thought, what is wrong in having a relationship with the Lord of the Lords, Indra? While they were having a relationship, Gautama comes and then in the disguise of a cat, Indra escapes. But he is given a sharpam that he will have 1,000 features of that of a woman. And then that turns into 1,000 eyes by the grace of a goddess who rules a little island near Sri Lanka called Indrakshi. So he becomes Sahasraksha. At that point in time, she is given a sharpam. Vada bhaksha nirahara tapyanti bhasmashayini adrishya sarva bhutanam ashrame tasmin vasishyasi. So she is given the curse to turn her into a stone. Stone is not mentioned in Ramayana. Sir, what is this? When Anjali Devi and N.T. Ramarao were walking, Ahalya was a big stone. We are going against A.P. Nagarajan, the director. I am not for or against a director. The only person whom I know is Valmiki. Valmiki doesn't mention of the word stone. Pashana Shabdam is not used. So the husband says, since you had a heart and the feelings of a person who is not so conducive to the husband, you have been an infidel, so let you turn adrishya, invisible. So one interpretation is, a stone is also invisible. How? Stone is visible, sir? No. Visible to the eyes, but you don't take cognizance of its presence, right? See, when two of them are walking, hey, look at that stone. Even if stones are there, you are not bothered whether they are stones or not. So you look through the stones. So to your eyes, though they are physically present, they are of no value. You take them at face value. So it is adrishya. But there is a problem. Logically, can you turn somebody of flesh and blood, A positive blood, suddenly into an inanimate object stone? No sir, with all VFX they can do. All these illogical things won't feature in our scriptures. There will be some logic to it. Remember, while Gautama left that hermitage and gave her the shapam, she realized her mistake. And she started performing prayaschittam, tapas, remorse for what act she had done. As she was doing tapas, she looked like a piece of stone. Because when you are in proper tapas, you will not be aware of what is happening around you. See, we are used to our style of meditation. We close our eyes. Somebody will ring the bell. Don't keep the phone on. Switch it off. Put it in aeroplane mode. Because we are able to still listen to all of it. In Ashtanga Yoga, when you go to Dharana, Dhyanam and Samadhi, even if there is a big burst of bomb near you, you should not be able to hear it. You have to be completely immersed with the Lord. That is Dhyanam. So she was like a piece of stone, because a piece of stone doesn't move, it doesn't have feelings. So she was looking like a stone, but she was still a person. Then Rama had to walk into Mithilopavanam. Beautiful verse from a chaupai from Ramacharita Tulsidas states, Gautam nari shrab basu ubar dehi dhari dhir charan kamal raj chahati kripa karahu raghubir. As Rama walked into the Mithilopavanam, because he had heard of the history of Ahalya and Gautama, he walked into the Mithilopavanam. We are often told that there was a big stone. Rama kept his foot on it, and that stone turned into a woman. Now you understand, there are many fallacies here. In Rama Avataram, Rama tells time and again, even if the other devotees would say that you are the Avataram of the Lord, he would say, no, Atmanam Manusham Manye Ramam Dasharathatmajam. I am a simple human being as you all. I am D. Ram. Atmanam Manusham Manye Ramam Dasharathatmajam. I am a normal human being. This is how he would say. Normal human beings such as us, we will not know in which stone there is a Atma. Suppose we are walking, hey, look at that tree, I can see an Atma in it. People will take us in a wrong fashion. He is able to see things which are not visible to us. So Rama was a normal human being. He couldn't have gotten suddenly cognizant that there is Ahalya in this stone and wouldn't have kept his foot there. The other interpretation is, no sir, he was just walking. Suddenly his foot touched the stone and the stone turned into a woman. See, there's such a big stone. It would have been visible to Rama's eyes. He wouldn't have purposefully gone near the stone and then touched the stone. Then what is the interpretation you want to give? We often say that the one which gave Ahalya Vimochanam was Rama's foot. This is also logically untenable. Why? Because generally the footwear that we wear will be longer than our largest finger, toe. Correct? It will be larger than that. So Rama couldn't have taken his foot out of the footwear and kept his foot on the stone. Right. Then what is the way to get out of it? Vedanta Deshika says, see, most poets see the front view of this incident. So from the front, if you see, it may seem as if his foot has given Vimochanam to Ahalya. No. Vedanta Deshika says, you go to the top view. In engineering design, you have to see the top view also. From the top view, we will understand that Rama's foot and the stone were a few feet apart. Then what gave Vimochanam? As Rama walked, Rama's holy feet, which were associated with the sandals called as Paduka, as he walked, Gajasimha Gati Virau, the dust that was attached to Mother Earth in association with Paduka flew and that dust fell on Ahalya, which gave Shapa Vimochanam. Namastasmai kasmaichana bhavatu nishkinchana jana swayam raksha diksha samadhika samindhana yashase suradhisha swairakshana kupita shapayudhavadu drishatta durjata prashamana padambhoja rajase, says Vedanta Deshika. Padambhoja rajas, the dust that is associated with the holy padukas, that are holy, associated with the holy feet of the Lord, gave emancipation. But of course, Tyagaraja saw only the front view, not the top view. So he says, Shri Rama Padamani Kripachalune Chittani Kirave Dharini Shilagai Tapamutalaga. He says, this is what that gave Vimochanam to Ahalya. Now, you may be wondering, in Sanatana Dharma, there is a later concept called as Pancha Mahakanya. Have you heard of Pancha Mahakanya? Now list down the Pancha Kanya. Ahalya, Draupadi, Sita, Tara, Mandodari. Of them, Sita we can understand. Mandodari, she was devoted to Ravana. However antisocial he was, she was with him. Now the other three become great points of debate. Tara. Who is this Tara? Not the Buddhism Tara. In Buddhism there is a deity called as Tara Devi. Not that Tara. Who is this Tara? Vali Patni. The other Tara is Brihaspati Patni. There are two Taras. Tara 1.0, 2.0. 1.0 Tara is Brihaspati Patni. Brihaspati Tarapate. Yesterday, if you remember, while discussing Rama's Jatakam, I did say Vakpata Vinduna Saha. Brihaspati's wife Tara had an illicit relationship with Chandra. So that Tara is 1.0. 2.0 is the Tara who will come on Thursday. This Thursday, when Sugriva Pattabhishekam, I will be discussing. Sapraskhalanti madavihvalakshim pralamba kanchi gunahema sutram salakshana lakshmana sannidhanam jagama tara namitanga yashtihi. She was waiting for a moment when her husband will die so that she could marry her husband's brother Sugriva. But we say she is one amongst Pancha Mahakanya. Next is Draupadi. 5. Next, we come across Ahalya, who had knowingly committed the mistake that it was. Then why do we have to respect them? Because Hinduism is never judgmental. It sees the woman as a woman. The circumstances that led to the woman in her life to have such situations, and judges her. So, 3 out of the 5 women may have doubtable characters as per us, but not as per Hinduism. Ahalya, she did commit a mistake, but later she turned into a woman who did prayaschittam for what mistake she had done. At that very moment, she equals Sita. On the other hand, there is this Tests of the D'Urberville. Is a work from the colonial period by Thomas Hardy. Here he talks about 2 people, poor peasants. They had a daughter called Tess. She is being physically assaulted and molested by the brat, the son, the arrogant son of a rich landlord. So she is devastated, depressed. At that point in time, Thomas Hardy states, out of sheer brilliance, he states, she is devastated because she is molested and physically assaulted. But this is no mistake of that man. She is born poor, so she has to bear the brunt, is what Thomas Hardy states. So here the woman was physically assaulted and the blame is thrown on her. Here Ahalya had volunteered to have a relationship with Indra, but Valmiki states she should be forgiven. Look at what is the mentality of the Oriental literature versus the Occidental literature. So, as they go forward, Vishwamitra who was amazed at Rama's valor while he was fighting the demons such as Tataka, Subahu and Maricha, now looks at Rama. Every minute he turns to Rama. Rama was finding it a bit embarrassing. See, if you go in the traditional trains and somebody keeps looking at you, you may want to divert that person's attention by looking left or right, but the person is not refusing to move hither or thither. So here, Vishwamitra looked to Rama. Why? Here comes a beautiful verse in Kambaramayanam. இவ்வண்ணம் நிகழ்ந்த வண்ணம் இனி இந்த உலகுக்கெல்லாம் உய்வண்ணம் அன்றி மற்றோர் துயர் வண்ணம் உருவதுண்டோ மை வண்ணத்தரக்கி போரில் மழை வண்ணத்து அண்ணலே உன் கை வண்ணம் அங்கு கண்டேன் கால் வண்ணம் இங்கு கண்டேன் மை வண்ணத்து அரக்கி போரில் மழை வண்ணத்து அண்ணலே. Of course, many nations had a problem with designating people and underestimating people based on their color. But Indian literature always was proud of the people's color. The hero of Mahabharata is Krishna, the dark one. கண்ணனென்னும் கருந்தெய்வம் காட்சி பழகி கிடப்பேனை புண்ணில் புலி பெய்தாற்போல் புறம் நின்று அழகு பேசாதே பெண்ணின் வருத்தம் அறியாத பெருமான் சேஸ் ஆண்டாள் in நாச்சியார் திருமொழி. கண்ணன் என்னும் கருந்தெய்வம், he is the dark one. Generally in the traditional conversations between me and my grandmother, if we happen to go to one of the relatives' marriges and come, பொண்ணு எப்படி இருந்தாங்க கருப்பா. So the stress that you put on that P determines the intensity of the darkness of a person. So Krishna is the dark one. Who is the heroine of Mahabharata? Draupadi. Kumari chapi panchali vedi madhya samuthita shubhaga darshaniyangi vedi madhya manorama. She was called Krishna, the dark one. Who is the one who compiled the instances of Mahabharata? Vyasa, who was called Krishna Dvaipayana, the dark one. So the dark one compiled the story of the dark one who was Krishna and the dark one who was Krishna. So Krishna Dvaipayana, Krishna's cube is Mahabharata. So we were very proud of our skin color. Here, மை வண்ணத்து அரக்கி போரில் மழை வண்ணத்து அண்ணலே. Vishwamitra tells, I am amazed, Rama. உன் கை வண்ணம் அங்கு கண்டேன், கால் வண்ணம் இங்கு கண்டேன். I was able to experience the beauty of your arms there and your foot here. What is there to experience? Because in a mundane world, if a person, be the man or the woman, has to reprimand the other person, he will say, let him come, I'll give him a kick. So to punish, to reprimand, you use your foot. I say, give him a kick. But to encourage the other person, you say, come here boy, I'll give you an embrace. Come here, I'll give you an embrace. So to appreciate, to motivate, you use your arms. To punish, you use your foot. Whereas Rama was absolutely the opposite of it. The legs which are used to punish, the foot that is used to punish, was the one that embraced Ahalya. The hands that are used to embrace were the ones that punished Tataka. So Vishwamitra was amazed at this opposite gunam of Rama. So he says, Kaivannam angu kanden, Kalvannam ingu kanden. Kal in Tamil means foot, feet. But there is another meaning to kal. What is kal? Quarter. So he says, I saw only a quarter here. What does he mean? Because if the entire Ramayana is taken as one whole number, Rama's birth till Sita Vivaham is quarter. What happens after that? Paduka Pattabhishekam, Sugriva Pattabhishekam, Rama Pattabhishekam is 3/4. So Vishwamitra's presence is only till Sita Vivaham. So he now feels bad that he is able to experience Rama's splendor only for the quarter portion. So he says, Kalvannam ingu kande. So as they walked, into Mithilopavanam. They gave Vimochanam to Ahalya. And then Janaka was informed that Vishwamitra is coming. Generally when Vishwamitra comes, all the kings will come and welcome him. Then he will create a big controversy. He's like the new son-in-law of those days. So what is new son-in-law? Pudu Mappille. Literally what it means is, those days sons-in-law, I am sure now you're all very good. So you're all very good. In those days, the sons-in-law used to give a tough time to the girl's parents. All those days are gone. So, who has welcomed me? There used to be a big issue in most marriages. No marriage was complete without a fight in those days. So, Vishwamitra, wherever he went, he wanted to be given that royal treatment. So, Janaka came. The moment Janaka saw Vishwamitra and the two young men flanked on either sides of Vishwamitra, he asked, Imau kumarau bhadram te deva tulya parakramau gajasimha gati virau shardula vrishabhopamau padma patra vishalakshau khatgatунir dhanurdharau ashvina vivarupena samupasthita yauvanau. In which Vachanam is this? I'm sure there were some volunteers from Samskrita Bharati. Krishnan, na? Kartika, where is he? So in which Vachanam is this? Imau, Kumarau. Dvivachanam. Ramaha, Ramau. Which is Dvivachanam. Sanskritam is one of the rare languages to have 1, 2 and more than 2. So Ramau is Dvivachanam. Imau, Kumarau, Bhadram te deva tulya parakramau. Why should Janaka use this Dvivachanam when he is looking at both men? Because internally he thought, I have been wanting to spot a good prospect son-in-law for my daughter, but he was blessed with daughters. The first daughter was found, the second daughter was given birth to. Her name was Urmila. So Sita and Urmila, he thought, let me be economical in nature. If I have two sons-in-law, I can use the same cook and same tambulam and give. So the moment he saw these two, it seems he internally thought, why shouldn't I have these two as my sons-in-law? Imau kumarau bhadramte deva tulya parakramau. Their valor is very much like the devas. Gaja simha gati virau shardula vrishabhopamau. It looks as if the lion is walking with all humility while the elephant walks. It looks as if the tiger walks with all humility while the Rishabha walks, the bull walks. So does Lakshmana walk with all humility when Rama walks. Why can't I have them as sons-in-law? As soon as he told this, Shatananda was the son of Gautama and Ahalya. The moment Vishwamitra saw Shatananda, he said, Shatananda, your mother has been given Shapa Vimochanam by Rama. Shatananda got immediately happy and he said, I will now describe or relate to you, narrate to you the life history of Vishwamitra. So Shatananda narrates the life history of Vishwamitra to Rama at this juncture. In 15 sargas, 700 verses in Ramayana is reserved for Vishwamitra's life history. I am not getting into that part at all now. Despite knowing that Vishwamitra is my respected father-in-law. You know, Dushyanta was married to Vishwamitra's daughter, Shakuntala. You know, father-in-law should be given utmost respect. How do we know this? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna doesn't invoke the names of most kings. But in one place, while mentioning Karma Yoga, he states, Astita Janakadayaha. Even great people like Janaka performed Karma Yogam. The commentator asks, why should he invoke Janaka? Because he has great respect to his previous avatar's father-in-law. But I am not going into that Vishwamitra Charitram now. Hope all is well with him. Now, they go into the Sabha Mandapam. As they walk into the Sabha Mandapam, the flag of Janakapatnam flutters high. The Tamil poet Kamban asks, how is it fluttering? It seems it was fluttering in such a fashion, telling Rama, please come inside, Sita is waiting for you, please come. Flag won't say this. But as a poet, you have the ability and the license to put on your thoughts into inanimate objects. மையர் மலரின் நீங்கி யான் செய்த மாதவத்தின் வந்து செய்யவள் இருந்தாள் என்னும் செழுமணி கொடிகள் என்னும் கைகளை நீட்டி அந்த கடிநகர் கமல செங்கண் ஐயனை ஒல்லைவா என்று அழைப்பது போன்றதம்மா. ஒல்லைவா, come inside. Similarly, a great Sangha poet called Ilangovadigal from the beautiful work Silappadigaram tells, when Kovalan wanted to find fortunes in Madura, which is Madurai today, as he entered the city, the flag was fluttering. How was it fluttering? Don't come inside, go out, go out. Here Kamban tells, come in, come in. Flag will flutter only in one fashion. Poets will describe. Now, as they entered Mithila, Valmiki doesn't digress into Sita meeting Rama. But Kamban and Tulasidas, being the poets they were, they thought, if our works have to be accepted, we have to add some romance to it. He came in, she came, they married and went to, who will read that book? So, it seems Rama went into an Upavanam. And Sita, by chance, coincidentally, she was also there in that Upavanam. The moment she saw him, and as soon as she took a glimpse of his beauty, Lavanyam, Saundaryam, she didn't want to wink. She thought if she winked, that image may disappear. So she refused to wink, it seems. To janaki malihi baru yehu mahin ali ha sandehu jo bidhi bas as bane sajogu to krit kritya hoi sab logu. As Rama, in Kamba Ramayana, Lakshmana was addicted to the weapons shop. He was checking what arrows to buy. He was always into warfare. And he checked for the guns, where to go and shoot. I don't have to tell you all about shooting. So, he looked into the weapons and Vishwamitra walked in the front. Some people, even if they are a couple, they won't be bothered about where their counterpart is. They'll keep walking. Later, after half an hour, they will understand that the other person is actually waiting somewhere. So Vishwamitra left, so did Lakshmana go. Rama got missed and he went into a thin cross street. Mithila cross street, Mithila main road, Mithila. So he went into the Mithila cross street. There was a low hanging balcony. Nobody was walking by that street. Sita was playing with her friends the game of ball, and as the ball went closer to the balcony, the friend said, Sita, why don't you fetch that ball for us? As she went closer to the balcony, there was a jingling sound of her anklets. Annamacharya, the great Telugu poet, Bhakti poet, says, if I go to Tirumala Tirupati, I don't see the Lord in front of me. For me, it is a little kid who wants to consume butter but is unable to because of being a fatso. So the butter melts and the rhythmic sound of him getting moved by the melting butter and the jingling sound is what I get to see. Kati dhati ta Mekhala khachita mani khandita padala ninadena vibhrajyamanam kutila paragatita samkula shinjite natam chatula natana samujvala vilasam bhavayami Gopala balam manasevitam tatpadam chintayeyam. That jingling, Rama was able to hear that as Sita was approaching the balcony, the volume of the jingling sound only increased. He wanted to check who this lady could be. And this little girl of 6 years of age was wondering, nobody walks by this cross street. But it seems to me somebody is walking and trying to look at the balcony, and as she looked down, he looked up. They were not aware that Kamban was looking at them. எண்ணலும் நலத்தினாள் இணையள் நின்றொழி கண்ணோடு கண்ணினை கவ்வி ஒன்றை ஒன்று உண்ணவும் நிலை பெறாது உணர்வும் ஒன்றிட அண்ணரும் நோக்கினான் அவரும் நோக்கினார். You may be wondering, shouldn't it be avalum nokkinal? No. In Tamil, the word avar, ivar, is generally denoted to a person with great respect. And this is gender agnostic. In those days, even if you have to refer to your mother-in-law, you will say avar vandar, not aval vandal. Avar denotes the man and the woman. Annarum nokinan, avarum nokinan. They looked at each other. But I'm not getting into the intricacies of Tamil grammar. In general Tamil, you use the word avarum, ivarum means also. He also saw her, she also saw him. Generally in grammar, it is not accepted to use two alsos together. What did you have today? I also had curd rice. What does that mean? I must have consumed two other varieties of rice before that. You will not say I had sambar rice, also sambar rice, also rasam rice, also curd rice. That means you have to learn the basics of grammar. If a shop says Sunday also the shop is open, that means the remaining days it is open. Monday also it is open. Tuesday also it is open. Did somebody write that? Wouldn't that amount to redundancy? Why should he say Annarum nokinan, avarum nokinan? Annarum nokinan means she also saw. Why two wombs? Because when it is an accident and not an incident, when it is not a planned event, then you can use two wombs. When an accident happens, you generally say avarum vandar, ivarum vandar. So they didn't plan. A lot more can happen over a cup of coffee. So let us meet. They didn't meet that way. It was absolutely unplanned. So annarum nokinan, avarum nokinal. There is another hidden meaning to this. In Jyotishya Shastram, now everybody will wake up. The moment Jyotisham or Jatakam or Kundali comes, everybody will become awake. Because that is the only relatable thing to our Sanatana Dharma. It predicts the future. Right? We are always very eager to know what will happen next. For another 25 minutes, you are not going to go out of this hall. That is your prediction for now. So, in Jyotishya Shastram, see, nowadays I'm sure children of your house, my cousins, everybody, they are of the firm opinion that you should never trouble parents for finding your life partner. Why should you trouble your parents? If we make the choice, they will be absolved of that particular work. So this is our generation's thought. So arranged marriage has become in the endangered species list. So if somebody says, my grandfather did not even see his wife, my grandmother, till that day of marriage, they will be wondering how. I keep telling this, my grandfather was I grew up under the love of my grandparents. My grandfather was a great man, okay to look at. My grandmother was extremely beautiful. So now I repent for having asked this question, but out of sheer innocence I asked my grandmother, how did you end up marrying this man? He was a very nice man. For which my grandmother in her own inimitable fashion used to say that generally in those days there is a statement for marriages, kanna moodindu kalyanam. Which means you won't know who that would-be is. You'll have to agree to your parents' wishes, and then you'll have to end up spending your another 60, 70 years. Because if you get married at the age of 15 or 18, you'll have to spend another, if you don't die in the middle, then you'll have to spend another 60, 70 years with this person. But you won't know whom you're going to live with for another 70 years till that day of marriage. That's the beauty. So that time my grandmother said, Kanna moodindu kalyanam panikkiradhu kettirukkiya? Yes, Paati. Mine was literally that. I had to literally close my eyes and marry him. So, in arranged marriages or probably assisted marriages, there is one scope for looking at the horoscopes. If there is arranged or assisted marriage, you will look at the horoscopes. But the irony is, the families may love each other. The girl and the boy may have the chemistry matching and everything works well. But if you look at the horoscopes, there will be a problem. There will be a Sashtashtakam, this particular Chandra Adipati and then Surya Adipati may not agree. So many things. So people get to that particular junction where they feel, oh, the horoscopes don't match. What should we do? What should we do? That time a great Maharishi called Apastamba states. How many of you belong to Apastamba Sutra? Apastamba Sutra. Apastamba Maharishi states, in such a situation, he gives a case scenario and gives a solution. In case the horoscopes don't match, but everything else is fine. The girl likes the boy likes the girl's family likes the boy's family. See, in the arranged marriages, every permutation has to match. The girl's family should like the boy's family should like the girl's family should like the boy's family should like the girl's family. So there are 6-7 permutations that come. If you have that NCR, that is the formula, right? So you'll have permutations coming. In case the Jatakam doesn't match, then Apastamba states, bring the prospect girl and the boy together. And bring a person who deciphers body language in a great fashion. If their eyes communicate, if their eyes can communicate, they shouldn't open their mouth, because the greatest form of communication among seasoned couples is when they talk less and they gesture more. You should not openly say. Suppose, for example, you have come at 3 p.m. and then 5 o'clock you have to go to somebody's house. So you cannot stay for the lecture till 5. So you have to leave by around 4:35 based on the current traffic position. So the mommy has to tell that mama. So they'll be seated in such a position which is closer to one of the exit doors, so that they can go. But if the mama is not so seasoned as the mommy, if he asks, then Apastamba Sutras fail. So Apastamba states that if the eyes can communicate, then do not look to the horoscopes. There is a sutram, Ikshanatve, there is a sutram. All our rishis were liberal to a great extent. They give practical solutions. If the eyes can communicate, don't look at the horoscope. Because that chemistry is what is very important in one's life. One should be able to gauge from the body language. See, even for speakers like us, we have to give at least 300 lectures every year in different geographies, different time zones. Same place I have to give lecture for 9 days, 18 days. I'll get audience. Now, based on the audience's body language, I should gauge whether they are able to comprehend the lecture, whether they are enjoying the lecture or not. So, if I know that there is some kind of fatigue set in the audience, then I have to give them an anecdote. So, suddenly if I feel that it is going as a monologue, I will ask a question. So, it is very important, be it in your corporate life, in your student life, that you understand how to understand one's body language. So, Annarum Nokkinal, Avarum Nokkinal means their eyes met and communicated, so there was no need for them to look at their horoscopes. Here, Ramanatakam is a great work of another great composer, Tamil composer called Arunachala Kavi. He tells how they were mesmerized by each other's beauty. Karulavum Shirulavum Idhilayil Kanni Madam Tanir Munne Nindravar Yaro Ivar Yaro Yenna Pero. So as they were looking at each other, all this is not there in Valmiki's Ramayana. But you may wonder, sir, you said Valmiki Ramayana is the Mukhya Pramanam. How can you take Kamban's Ramayana? As long as it doesn't affect the original storyline, it is okay to have inclusions. Now, they had to go into Janaka's court. As he went into Janaka's court, Vishwamitra told Janaka, is the Dhanush Puja over? He said, just now it got over, sir. The Dhanush has been put into the safe chamber here. Can you please ask your soldiers to bring it? I want to ask Rama to see it once. He is very much into archery, Dhanurvidya. Let him have a glimpse of it. So the moment that Dhanus came, Vishwamitra said, Vatsa, oh my dear child, Lakshmana got up. Because amongst these two, the child is Lakshmana, and he got up. Oh, Vishwamitra, Ramayana is taking a different course. Vatsa, he got up. Rama, then he sat and Rama got up. Dhanuf Pashya, go and see the bow. Dhanuf Pashya iti Raghavam Abraveet. Go see the bow. If he had told me, I would have seen that bow. Nannark. I would have come back. I would have come back. But an intelligent person will always understand what is hidden between the lines. The mother is making nice vadas at home. And the oil that is required to fry the oils, the vadas, isn't there as much. The moment she turns towards her son and says, Yell sesame, the boy has to go and bring oil. Because what she requires is oil, not sesame. If he buys 2 kilos of sesame, she won't have the time to pound and extract the oil from it, cold pressed oil, and use it. So the moment she says, Yell, he has to go bring that oil. So there's a saying in Tamil, Yellana Yenna, which means you should know what that person asks. Then what did Vishwamitra say? Vatsarama Dhanuf Pashya, go see the bow. But what did he imply by that? Go see and lift the bow. How did he say that? Paundrikapura Mandavan used to state, Vatsarama Ram Dhanuhu Pashya. Not see, lift and see. Dhanuf Pashya. But why didn't he directly say lift? Because if he would use action words such as lift, bring, see and all of that, the boy may go end up complaining to his father, you sent me with this old man, he is using me for child labor. So he didn't want this situation, so he said, and the other point, Kosalaha saha ingitagnaha. There was a saying, people of Uttar Pradesh were very adept in understanding body languages in scenes. Kosalaha saha ingitagnaha. So Rama went, he took that bow. See, it was already a bow with an existing crack. It was not in a usable condition, but Rama was not aware of this. He had to string the bow because the string is in a different position. He has to string it. So as he bent the bow and had to string it and then release it to check if the thankaram is good. By the time he did this, the bow broke. It was a broken bow, it broke. See, imagine you're going to somebody else's house and you're breaking their most treasured object. You will be in a catch-22 situation. What expression to give? Rama was in a similar expression. He looked at Janaka in a very pitiable face. Yes, sir, I didn't do it. I thought it was a good boy. I tried, that's all I did, sir. Janaka said, ask Sita to come marry my daughter. Rama was wondering, see, if I break some object, either I have to pay some penalty or I have to fix the bow and go. I go to one house, I break their jar and then they say, marry my daughter. If Krishna had been in that situation, your daughter Sita asked her to come. But you know what Rama said? Pitrabihi, I will not marry your daughter unless my father approves her. Call my father, send one telegram to him. Start immediately. In those days, if there were telegram messages with such messages like start immediately, it would imply that somebody is dead. Ask your father, my father to come. Sita, at that point in time, she knew to which family she was getting into. So she was having a beautifully strung garland in her hands. Angam harehe pulaka bhushanam ashrayanti brihmanganeva mukula bharanam tamalam Angīkrita khila vibhūtira pangalila māgalyadastu mama mangala devataya. Angam harehe pulaka bhushanam ashrayanti. If a normal garland is also adorning Mahalakshmi's neck, the bees will come buzzing, hovering around her hair because they would find her hair of a better fragrance than the garland, it seems. You must remember a beautiful incident from one of the Shaiva contexts where a king was wondering if his queen's hair smelled organically, naturally, or because of the flowers. Do you remember this incident? Pengalin Kundalukku manam iyarkaya sayarkaya. Look at what all debates they had in those days. So, Sita had this beautiful garland and she wanted to garland Rama. Being a girl of those days, she didn't want to suddenly look at him. So she wanted to exhibit Acham, Madam, Nanam and all of that, and then she looked down. But she wanted to have a glimpse of Rama because everybody is saying, look at Rama, he's so handsome. Thin hip. Lakshana Shastram tells, be it for the man or woman, the neck size should be the hip size, it seems. What fits as your necklace should fit as your girdle. That is why in Krishna Avataram, when the Gopikas Threes had to come rushing to the Rasa Krida, out of sheer pleasure, mirth, they replaced jewelry. But what fit as their necklace fit as their girdle, because their hip size and neck size was the same. Absolutely unimaginable now. We can't even relate to it. We may find the statement also absolutely illogical. But this is how it is. Poyo yenum idayal, Kambar tells, the hip should be a pseudo hip. It shouldn't be visible even if you get closer to it. It should be deciphered based on logic. The upper torso cannot float in air. So there should be a physical connection between the upper and the lower torso. So there should be a hip, is what you should decipher, not see. So Sita wanted to have a look at Rama, how Rama is. Lavanya Ramara Larajudare Ati Lavanya. Lavanyam ante emi? Telugu varu unnara ikkada? What? Lavanyam ante emi? Lavanya shabdam ki artham? Beauty. Saundaryam. Saundaryam ante emi? Beauty. Emi saridi. Paryayavachaka shabdam ki okkate oka meaning unnada? No, Saundaryam is a different beauty, Lavanyam is a different beauty. Saundaryam is Avayava Shobha. If each part is individually beautiful, it is Saundaryam. Tol Kandar, Tole Kandar. So if the arms are alone beautiful, then it is Saundaryam. Hip alone is beautiful, it is Saundaryam. So beauty in a subset fashion is Saundaryam. Overall beauty, Samudaya Shobha, is Lavanyam. From a distance he was extremely handsome. Then it is Lavanyam. Saundarya Rajam Ashraye Gaja Brindavana Sarangarajam. Saundaryam Lavanyam. He's extremely beautiful, Sita, but Sita wanted to have a glimpse of him. How will she? So she created a Vyajam to look at him. She had beautiful bangles, matte finish, antique finish. So as they were coming, flowing, the Sairandrika's trees around her were worried if the bangles will come out of her tender lotus-like palms. So they wanted to be very careful. Sita, you bangles. As she did this and they were trying to look down to check if her bangles would come or not, in that gap, she saw Rama, it seems. Kala kala manu mukha palugaligin Sita kulu kuchunu voraganulanu Juche ninnu kana kana ruchira Kana kavasana Kana kana voraganulanu. Corner glances. See, people who are adept in Natya Shastram will know what is the importance of abhinayam. Through eyes you can actually communicate one entire story. Well, now Dasharatha was very happy. He immediately sent one message. I will surely come with my entire retinue. I understand that you have a younger brother who has got 2 daughters. I have 2 remaining sons. Why can't we do a one-to-one matching in set theory? You can do that one-to-one mapping. We will do that. So Mandavi and Shrutakirti came from the lower part of Bihar to Nepal. And there was one Sabha Mantapam arranged. And then there was this marriage between the 6-year-old Sita and 12-year-old Rama. What should have been the age of Lakshmana and Bharata and Shatrughna? Same 12, because they were born one day after the other, right? But in most of our diagrams, how it will be is portraits. Rama will be 6-footer. Bharata will be half. Then Lakshmana, Shatrughna will be just born. Somehow we want to bring down the height of others. No, they were all looking the same. 2 were dark copies, 2 were white copies. Lakshmana and Shatrughna were fair. Bharata and Rama were dark. So as they were brought to the Sabha Mantapam, Pani Grahanam was done. Kanyaka Adhanam, Pani Grahanam. Remember, even today, if at all you are conducting a Vedic marriage, as per Shastram, the Muhurtam time is fixed only for Pani Grahanam, not for Tirumangalya Dharanam. You go check the invitations. Pani Grahanam Shaidu Kolvadai is the word. They will not give importance to. It doesn't mean Tirumangalya Dharanam is bad or wrong, but it is not a part of the ancient Vedic era. Mangalyam Tantunanena Mama Jivana Hetuna Kanthe Vadnami Shubhage is a later added mantram. It is not in the Vedas. If it was Vedic, then there was no need for A.R. Rahman to set one music for it. Mangalyam Tantunanena Mama Jivana. Not needed. Because if it is Vedic, then there is no need to set music for it. Later it was there. Now you may ask whether it is right or wrong. What is wrong in sporting one 8 sovereign gold jewelry, yellow metal? You can come up with Ratta Vadam also in that. 2 strings also. No harm. Now, Pani Grahanam was done. This verse from Ramayana is still used in most marriages. Iyam Sita Mama Suta Sahadharma Charitava Praticha Chainam Bhadram Te Panim Grinhishva Panina Broche Varevarura Iyam Sita. This is Sita. Janaka introduces, hey Rama, look at this. This is Sita. Iyam Sita. Rama asked, what is so special? Why should I see? Rama, people say that you are handsome. People say that you are well read. Chandrakantananam Ramam Ativa Priyadarshanam Rupa Audarya Gunaihi Pumsam Drishti Chitta Paharinam. By having a glimpse of you and being a recipient of your auspicious qualities, one's eyes can be robbed of your beauty and one's minds and hearts can be robbed of your good virtues. Drishti Chitta Apaharinam. But Rama, don't take too much of pride in all that you possess. Look at Sita, Hiranya Varnam Harini. What I possess as my daughter is no lesser to you. She is in fact one step better than you. You know, one of the Vaishnava Acharyas asks, if you go to the Sannidhi of the Lord, he has his Abhaya Hastam like this. Don't worry. If you then go to the Sannidhi of Mahalakshmi, she also has a palm which says Abhaya Hastam, don't worry. Why should the husband and the wife use the same mudra? Don't worry, don't worry. No, the implication is different, says the Acharya. If you go to the Lord's Sannidhi and he says, don't worry, he says, I know that you have committed many, many apacharams in your previous janmas and now, don't worry. After he says this with this tone and tenor, we are a bit confused as to whether he's asking us to worry or not worry. With this confusion in our minds, we go to the Sannidhi of Mahalakshmi. She says, don't worry about him. So the implication is different. So she's better than you. Iyam Sita. Rama, you may be wondering, that your Janma is after Putrakama Ishti. My daughter is no less. She was born on Mother Earth. As much as gold is gotten from Mother Earth. Hiranya Varnam Harinim. Pon Kidaitadum Bhumiyil Yen Pen Kidaitadum Bhumiyil. Ma Janaki Cheta Petaga. Yam Sita Mama Suta, my daughter. Why that my is very important? Because when it comes from Janaka's mouth, it is very important. Janaka, who has been mentioned by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita as a karma yogi, there is an anecdote from Janaka's history where Janaka was learning under a rishi called Yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya wanted to bring out the significance of a great king such as Janaka to the world. So he created an illusionary fire, Mayagni. So the people in his ashramam, the ministers went running hither and thither. Oh, my car is getting burnt, my house is getting burnt, my seat is getting burnt, my cupboard is getting burnt. Janaka was unmoved. Yajnavalkya asked, Janaka, aren't you going out to protect your possessions? Your possessions? Janaka said, Pradiptayam Mithilayam Name Kinchit Pradahyate. Mithila is burning, but there is nothing in Mithila which is mine, which is burning. There is nothing which is mine. So why should I go and protect which is not mine, which does not belong to me? So the person was bereft of Mamakara, mine. But that Janaka today tells Mama Suta, my daughter. Why? Even when Janaka, the great karma yogi, has to say, this is my daughter, look at how much Sita's habits could have been so valued that she has made even a Janaka say she's my daughter. When will you say this is mine or mine? When that thing is very close to you. Imagine the child is unruly, uncivilized, barbaric. People ask, yaar Kurandha. So you may want to disown something, but here is someone who says, this is my daughter. Iyam Sita Mama Suta. Rama, she will be your better half. See, in maths, either there is half or no half. What is better half? When somebody gives 0.5 and 0.5, sir, you choose whichever is better. Both 0.5s will be better. How can you add this better to one half? Because Rama is 0.49 who's approximated to 0.5. Sita is 0.51 who's approximated to 0.5. So though 0.5 and 0.5 may be equal, but 0.51 minus 0.49 is 0.01, 02. So you have a difference, right? So Sita has to come down to match Rama. So she is the better half. Sahadharma charitava praticha chainam bhadram te. Hold her palm. Panin grinihishva padina. Hold her palm in such a way which implies, hey Janaka, if by any instance my wife, your daughter is getting lost, I will not be of this attitude. Oh, Sita is gone, let me find one Gita. No, if Sita is lost, I will construct a bridge, go to the neighboring country, fight a war and rescue her. This should be your love for my daughter. Panin grinihishva panina. Now, the Sita Kalyana Churnika is read generally in most places. Atha janaganrupatihi manoratha maharunavaparangatva paramananda jaladhauni magnaha jagat chakshuhu kulabhushanasya jagatraya samrakshana dikshitasya nadajanakalpataroho shrikodandav diksha guroho vivaha mahotsava shitirata purita manoratha bhagirata vamshajatam atirata maharata prithvi patibanditam dasharata maharajam ratha gaja turaga padadi sahitam samantri purohitam saputra kalatram saparivaramānāya satkrita nānā vidakramuka Narikedaram Paripalagucha Sahasra Shata Kumbastamba Bhushite Jambhari Chirakamshite Paripurna Manorata Parapramoda Paura Bharattajana Paraspara Krita Sallape Sakala Manohara Lape Kirita Kavacha Kundalake Yura Nupura Muktahara Vibhushita Nana Vidam Rudula Chitra Sanastanana Desha Gataraja Varya Brinde Lochana Nande Nana Vidavarna Swarna Pushpastava ಕೋಟಿ ದೇದೀಪ್ಯಮಾನಲಯ ಚಂದನ ಗುರು ಗುಗ್ಗುಳು ಗೋಕೃತಾದಿ ದಿವ್ಯ ಪರಿಮಳ ವಾಸನಾ ವಸ್ತು ಘುಮುಘುಮಾಯಮಾನ ಸಭಾಂತರೇ ನಿರಂತರ ಮಣಿಕಚಿತ ಮುಕುರ ಪರಂಪರ ಬೇರಿ ಮೃದಂಗ ಮದ್ದಳ ಕಾಕಳ ದುಂದುವಿ ತೂರಿಯ ತುಂಬುರು ವೀಣಾ ವೇಣು ನೂಪುರ ಮಡ್ಡುಕ ಡಿಂಡಿಮ ಡಮರುಕ ಝಂझರಿ ಝಲ್ಲರಿ ಧವಳ ಶಂಕ ಪಣವ ಪಟಹಾದ್ಯ ಅಷ್ಟಾದಶ ವಾದ್ಯ ಘೋಷ ಸಂತತ ಶಬ್ದಾಯಮಾನ ಸಕಲ ದಿಗಂತರೆ ನಾರದ ತುಂಬುರು ವೀಣಾ ಗಾನ ಮನೋಹರೇ ಸವತ್ಸ ಗೋಸಹಸ್ರಾದ್ಯನೇಕ ಕೋಟಿ ಹಿರಣ್ಯ ವಸ್ತ್ರಾಭರಣ ಭೂದಾನ ಬಹುಮಾನ ಸಂತೋಷಿತ ಪಾತ್ರ ಭೂತೋಭಯ ಸಂಬಂಧಿ ರಾಜಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠ ವಂಶಾವಳಿ ನಾಮ ಗೋತ್ರ ಪ್ರವರೋಚ್ಚಾರಣ ನಿಪುಣ ವಸಿಷ್ಠ ವಾಮದೇವ ವಿಶ್ವಾಮಿತ್ರ ಶತಾನಂದಾದಿ ಸಕಲ ಮುನಿಗಣ ಸಂಕೀರ್ಣ ವಿವಾಹ ವೇದಿ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಕೃತಸ್ತವ ಸಿದ್ಧ ಸಾಧ್ಯೆ ಅಬ್ಜಭವ ಜಿಷ್ಣುಮುಖ ಹೃಷ್ಟ ಸಕಲ ತ್ರಿದಶ ಸಪ್ತಮರುದಷ್ಟವ ಸುಯಕ್ಷಗಣ ಸಿದ್ಧ ಜನ ರುದ್ರಗಣ ಸತ್ಕೃತ ಪವಿತ್ರತರ ಮಿತ್ರಕುಲ ರತ್ನ ಸುಗುಣಸ್ತವ ಸಮಸ್ತ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತ ಬಿರುದ ಸ್ತೋಮ ನಿನದೆ ನಿರಸ್ತ ಘನದೇಂದ್ರ ಬಿರುದೇ ಸಂಕರ್ಷಣಾದ್ಯಮರ ಬೃಂದಾವಕೀರ್ಯಮಾಣ ಮಂದಾರ ಕುಸುಮ ಮುಖ ನಂದನ ವರ್ಷೇ ನವರತ್ನ ಮಣಿಕಚಿತ ಕನಕಮಯ ಮಂಟಪೇ ಕಿಂಚಿದಾರಬ್ಧದಾರುಣ್ಯಂ ನದ ಜನೈಕ ಕಾರುಣ್ಯಂ ವಿದಳಿತ ಮಹೇಶ ಚಾಪಂ ವಿಧಿಮುಖ ಸುರಾವಿದಿತ ಪ್ರತಾಪಂ ಪರಿಹೃತ ಮುನಿಜನತಾಪಂ ಭಾನುಕುಲ ರತ್ನ ದೀಪಂ ಸಂಪೂರಿತ ಭಕ್ತ ಜನಕಾಮಂ ಸಜಲ ಜಲಧರ ಶ್ಯಾಮಂ ಸಗಲೋಕಾಭಿರಾಮಂ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮಂ ಸನ್ನಿವೇಶ್ಯ ಕೇತಕೀ ಚಂಪಕ ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾದ್ಯಲಂಕೃತ ನೀಲಾಲಕ ವೇಣೀಂ ಕಲಹಂಸ ಗಾಮಿನೀಂ ಕರುಣಾವಲೋಕಿನೀಂ ಅನಗಮಣಿಕ ಜಗದ ಖೇಮಕಂಠೀಂ ಸ್ವರಚಿತ ಕಲಕಂಠೀಂ ಹಾಡಗಮಣಿಮಯ ತಾಟಕಾಲಂಕೃತ ಕಪೋಲಾಂ ಅಗಣಿತ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಗುಣಶೀಲಾಂ ಅರವಿಂದ ಸುಂದರ ಮಂದಹಾಸಮುಖೀಂ ಶ್ರೀ ರಘುನಂದನಾಭಿಮುಖೀಂ ಕೃತ್ವಾ ಇಯಂ ಸೀತಾ ಮಮ ಸುತಾ ಸಹ ಧರ್ಮಚರಿತವ ಪ್ರತಿಚ್ಚ ಚೈನಾಂ ಭದ್ರಂ ತೇ ಪಾಣಿಂ ಗೃಹೀಶ್ವ ಪಾಣಿನಾ ಪತಿವ್ರತಾ ಮಹಾಭಾಗಾ ಛಾಯೇವಾನುಗತಾ ಸದಾ ಇತಿ ಕ್ಷೀರಾಬ್ಧೀರಿವ ಮಹಾಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಂ ಶ್ರೀಮತೆ ನಾರಾಯಣಾಯ ಶೋಭನ ಮಂತ್ರಾಕ್ಷತ ಹಿರಣ್ಯೋದಕಧಾರಾ ಸಹಿತಾಂ ಮಂದಸ್ಮಿತಾಂ ಸೀತಾಂ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮಚಂದ್ರ ಕರಾರವಿಂದೇ ಸಮರ್ಪಯಾಮಾಸ ಶುಭಂ. This is the invitation that is read for Rama and Sita's marriage, which is called as Vivaha Mahotsava Patrika, as they were putting their palms together. This happened somewhere in the Treta Yugam, as per our Yuga count, many lakhs years before. As per the historians, around the 5000 BC, when earlier to the first dynasty that must have come in the Egyptian civilization. That's how we place Ramayana, 5000 to 5000 BC, roughly 7000 years before now. So whichever is the case, just a person who lived 250 years before in Tiruvayyar Panchanadi Kshetram, Tyaga Brahmam, a devout poet, extremely knowledgeable in the languages such as Sanskritam, Telugu, one of the persons who gave us the classical form of Carnatic music, which is sung with all intricacies today. He wanted to conduct one Sita Vivaha Mahotsava, but he was very poor. He was absolutely immersed in destitution, so he couldn't arrange for a great mandapam. He looked around, people said, give me advance of so much, caution deposit of so much. He did not know what to do. Finally he arrived after the Upanishadic passage which said that the heart, the Harakasham, is the mandapam. This is my mandapam, the auricle, ventricle, left auricle, right auricle, left ventricle, right ventricle, pulmonary vein, aorta. All this is the mandapam. The capillaries that run are the toranams. And let me make Sita and Rama, who sit in the Hridaya Kamalam as Paramatma, on the Jhula. And he wanted to swing that particular swing. But then he thought he didn't have the necessary qualifications to do that. So out of sheer humility, Naichanusandanam, when he got a few steps backward, he saw a gym-bodied, very well-built person standing next to him, and that was Hanuman. He said, Hanuman, you are the greatest devotee. You should swing for Sita and Rama. Hanuman said, I thought I was one until I saw you, Tyagaraja. You are the greatest of the devotees. While there was a healthy competition between the two, Hanuman and Tyagaraja, emerged the eternal, timeless composition. Pavan J Stuti Patra Pavan Chari चैत्र रवि सोमवर नेत्र रमणीय गात्र सीता कल्याण वैभोग में रम कल्याण वैभोग में निगम गम विहार निरुपम शरीर नगधर कविधर नदलोकाधार सीता कल्याण वैभोग में रमा कल्याण वैभोग में. How many decades and centuries have passed by since this composition? We do get the 10 best songs in iTunes and everything of this week. But those songs keep changing day after day. What is Kesariya from Brahmastra, which was one a month back, is now gone to position 9. But this composition manages to stay in our hearts and minds because it is not just important of the sahityam that we write. It is about who has composed that sahityam. If they are yajvas, their balam comes into the sahityam. As the marriages were conducted and they had to go back to Ayodhya, they were given kambalams. Says Valmiki, kambalam is shawl, because they had to come from Nepal. Nepal is famous for shawls, so they were given shawls and then they had to come. As they came, they saw that there were some nimittams which were not very auspicious in nature. So Dasharatha got worried. Why are these nimittams bad? Then the person who deciphers nimittams says that don't worry, if the nimittams are not that auspicious also, they will come as deterrents, as impediments, and they will go vanish that very moment. Sanatana Dharma believes in certain Shakunam and Nimitta Shastram. The great sage of Kanchi Paramacharya used to distinguish. When you decipher events based on the movements of birds, Shaku, it's called Shakunam. Anything besides Shakunam is Nimittam. So, Parashurama comes. Parashurama heard the Thankaram of the Shiva Dhanus while he was in Mahendragiri, which is near Tirukkurungudi in Tamil Nadu. What was strung in Nepal, he heard it in Tirukkurungudi. So he goes all the way and says, Rama, prove your valor by not lifting a bow which is already broken. Prove your valor by lifting this Vishnu Dhanus I have, which is unharmed. Rama handles that, and that moment Parashurama realizes that the person who's standing opposite him is the avatar of Vishnu. This is what we have studied and learned. Now there will be one intelligent question. Parashurama is also the avatar of Vishnu. Rama is also the avatar of Vishnu. How can two avatars fight? Even David Cameron did not allow avatars to fight. How will you allow them to fight? Because in avatarams there is a difference between Mukhya Avataram and Amukhya Avataram. Paramatma chooses to be born himself. That is Rama Avataram and Krishna Avataram. That is called Purna Avataram. Tatte Pratyagradhara Dharalalita Kala Yavali Kerikaram Lavanya Sekasaram Sukriti Janadrisham Purna Punya Avataram Lakshmi Nishankalila Nilayanam Amritasyanda Sandohamantaha Sinchatu Sanchintakana Vapuranukalaye Maruta Garanatha, says Bhattadri Narayaniyam. So these are all Purna Avatarams. The Lord is Rama, the Lord is Krishna. Whereas in certain scenarios, he chooses to inject one of his multi-attributes into a normal Jivatma, like such as us. Then that avataram is blessed by the Lord with one extra attribute that is called as Amukhya Avataram or Shakti Aveshya Avataram, such as Parashurama. So why then do we include in the Dashavataram? See, Dashavataram itself is not something which is very ancient. Our acharyas, for our understanding, have grouped certain avataras because the avataras of Lord are innumerable. Even now, there will be many avataras. One, he could be born in Scotland, Iceland, Ireland, Saudi, wherever, we don't know. He never chooses that I will be born only in West Bengal. He doesn't have any geography. He is Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. Every moment I will be born. But why do we not know who's an avataram? Because we don't have Vyasas and Vishwamitras amidst us to tell us that this is an avataram. We need great personalities to tell this is an avataram. We don't have such great personalities now. So we are not able to understand. He is taking many avatars. So avatarams are many in number, because often I will be asked this question, sir, in this Dashavataram there is Balarama. In that Dashavataram there is Buddha. Which one to take? Everything is correct. Because avatarams are many. Which one you want to choose is in your hands. Annamacharya says, Daruna Buddha Kaliki. So he includes Buddha. Vedanta Deshika says, Ichamina Viharakachava Mahapotrin Yadichaharehe Rakshavaman Rosharama Karunaka Kutsta Hela Halin. He includes Balarama and not Buddha. It's okay. No harm. So if there is a Purna Avataram and an Apurna Avataram, the Apurna Avataram will be won over by the Purna Avataram. You will be amazed. You know, Parashurama annihilated one great Haihaya king of Mahishmati. If I say Mahishmati, what will you remember? Mahishmati is the current Maheshwar. If you go to Maheshwari silk, have you heard of Madhya Pradesh? That is Mahishmati. Haihayas ruled. The greatest king of Haihayas was called Kartavirya Arjuna. It is a belief in Sringeri Sampradayam that if you have something lost, you have to pray to Kartavirya Arjuna and you will get it. So this Kartavirya Arjuna, as per Puranam, is the avatara of Sudarshana Chakra. And who killed him? Parashurama. Parashurama is the Avishya avataram of Vishnu. Who subdued him in the war? Purna avataram called Rama. Whom did Kartavirya Arjuna win over? Ravana. When Kartavirya Arjuna was playing with his wives in the flowing waters of Narmada, Ravana said, come and fight with me. Kartavirya Arjuna held him in his arm gap and flew to all the places and brought him back. Then Ravana said, see, I just called for fun. You take it seriously. So Kartavirya Arjuna was subdued Ravana. So Ravana was won over by Kartavirya Arjuna. Kartavirya Arjuna was killed by Parashurama. Parashurama's Garvam was brought down by Rama. Thereby in Balakandam itself, Rama had won over Ravana. Right? Vedanta Deshika puts this in one Churnika. That is his, being a polymath himself, he brings the purport of this incident in one Churnika. Kratuhara Shikhari Kantuka Vihrutyunmuka Jagadiruntuta Jitahari Danti Danta Danturunta Dashavadana Damana Kushala Dashashata Bhuja Mugadpatikula Rudira Jara Bharita Prututara Tataka Tarpita Pitrika Bhugubadi Sugati Vihati Karanata Parudishu Pariga. Whatever I had said is mentioned in this particular Churnika. So Parashurama Garbhabhangam was done and then they all went back to Ayodhya. So Rama was 12, Sita was 6. They lived happily. No quarrel between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. कभी सास भी बहू थी, वो सब बाद में आया. See, I will give you an example. In Mahabharatam, Kunti became a widow at a very young age. She lost her co-wife also, Madri. So she became the custodian, guardian of all the 5 Pandavas. So later, due to one certain incident, when I describe Mahabharatam, that will come later, Draupadi becomes the daughter-in-law of Kunti. So she falls at the feet of Kunti and seeks her blessings. Generally, when somebody falls, you will say some nice prophecy or something good. You know what Kunti says? In Mahabharatam is a beautiful shloka. Draupadi, I have undergone a lot of challenges in my life. Early in my life, I lost my husband. I had to become the mother of 5 children. And she knows, she did not tell, but she lost her first child, right? Karna. So I have undergone a lot in my life. I bless you, my dear daughter. Whatever challenges I have faced, problems I have faced, you should never undergo any one of them. Look at the magnanimity of how relationships existed. This was not the attitude. So this relationship existed so well. Smooth sailing. 24 years Rama was. He was to turn 25. Sita was 18 years. They all lived happily. தோன்றிய கூனியும் துடிக்கும் நெஞ்சினாள் ஊன்றிய வெகுளியாள் உழைக்கும் உள்ளத்தாள் கான்று எரி நயனத்தாள் கதிக்கும் சொல்லினாள் மூன்று உலகினிற்கும் ஓர் இடுக்கண் முட்டுவாள் tells Kambar. Then came Manthara. Kaikeyi belonged to Kekeya Desham, which is currently, historians opine that it is the northern part of Afghanistan, which later became Gandharam during Mahabharata time. So she belonged, Ashwapati belonged to that region. But Paramacharya was of a different opinion. He used to state that Kekeya is not Afghanistan, it is Russia. So in whichever case, Kaikeyi belonged to Russia or Afghanistan. Foreign daughter-in-law ruling India has been in the world. தோன்றிய கூனியும் துடிக்கும் நெஞ்சினாள் ஊன்றிய வெகுளியாள். It seems Kuni Manthara had this charming way of speaking. You will think that there is no poison in the way she speaks. Veguliyal. She will act as if she is just saying out of that spur of the moment. But she will have a deep thought. மூன்று உலகினிற்கும் ஓர் இடுக்கண் முட்டுவாள். By just one word she can create a tiff between three worlds. There are people like that. நம்மாத்துக்கு அழைக்க வந்தாளே உங்காத்துக்கு இன்னும் வரல வருவா. The way they say, you will know that there is a hidden meaning. Then you will start thinking and then you will message that person. That person will say, how dare you tell that I was to come to your house today? Who told you this? நான் சொன்னேன் சொல்லிடாது. See, we should not commit any Bhagavatapachara. They would have committed everything. And finally they will say this. Samayaniki tagumadalagdene. Then only Saadhinjane. Let us see what Manthara has to offer in Ayodhya Kandam tomorrow. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashalini Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Kindly forgive me for the time missed.